Hello everyone, I am Himanshu Daga and this video is to help you speed up with cexp task which talks about implementing tab completion function. Don't expect this video to contain the complete solution. It is meant to just help you pick up the pace with this task. So let's begin by exploring the cexp folder. I am opening it with Visual Studio. This is our folder cexp and these are the contents available in it. Now, in general, whenever you have to add some functionality to an existing code base or you are exploring a new package, in any such case, the first thing that we look for is documentation, and mostly we have a README file for that. So, let's begin with this. This README is our guide inlet and it should contain everything that we need. So, let's start. Start here to solve the cexp task. In this task, you will modify the command interpreter framework to perform tab completion on commands. For example, when you type H followed by the tab key, the remainder of the help command will be automatically entered. Typing return will then run the command. Typing return simply means pressing the enter key. So this is the general behavior of tab completion and that we see in our command lines also. Now, these are some details about the CMCMD contains sources and some documentation for the command interpreter, and we can run make to build the command interpreter. And right now we have it in this file also, this folder also, that command interpreters file, and make file is also provided here. Okay, that's all. So we can look for more information about this command interpreter in CMCMD task that we did earlier. Now you should modify only CMD. Okay, this is important. You should modify only cmd.c in this directory. No other files will be used for grading. So out of all these files, we are just concerned about this thing. So we will see to it later. Now let's proceed further. The tab key should automatically type in any characters that are needed to complete every matching command. For example, if you type H and then tab, ELP should be automatically typed. The command line will now be cmd help and cmd buff, where the command is stored, will contain the string help, and typing return will run the help command. So there are two important catches here. The first thing is, whenever the tab is pressed, we have to set a trigger. And what should be done then? Uh, it should search for commands starting from the string that has been entered so far, like in this case H has been entered, and we should print that the rest of the part of that command in the command line. And we don't just have to print it, we also have to store it in some cmd buff variable, because this is used to store the command internally. When we are typing, this is the place where the command is getting stored, whatever we are typing on the command line. So takes from here, we have to search for cmd buff in the cmd.c file and look it. Now let's proceed. Similarly, typing T then tab will return and run test command, entering the test subsystem. Now in the test subsystem, if you type H then tab, there are two matching commands, help and hello. Since both start with help, the letters EL will be automatically entered. No more letters can be automatically entered, because at this point it is ambiguous whether you will type L for hello or P for help. If you type L and then press tab, the only matching command is hello. So O is automatically entered. There is a hint, that's good always. The logic is to determine that what commands are available is non-trivial. All global commands are always available. Subsystem names are available when no subsystem is selected, and subsystem commands are available only after entering the subsystem. This is fine. So, however, you do not really need to fully understand or implement these rules, because they are already implemented in the cmdid search function. That's good to know. So we will have to look for cmd id search function also in our cmd.c. As described in the comment, cmd search looks for a case-insensitive match to available commands. You can copy and modify this function as part of your own solution. That sounds assuring. It will reduce our. So after reading this README file, I can make this a mini to-do list. So what we have to do there? First thing is figure out where and how to set trigger when tab is pressed. We need to access someplace. From where will we access and give this functionality that we are talking about? Okay. Next is how to fetch all the commands. So as we have seen in previous tasks, CMD table contains these all the commands. So we will search from command table list. And the last thing is where is command stored? As they said, it's CMD buff. So we need to check that out. So it's CMD buff. We found it from the README. And one thing is left, figure out where and how to set triggers. Okay, there was one more thing in README right here to explore the documentation of CMCMD. So let's do that. Maybe we will find something there. It's README. Okay, CMCMD is extensible command processor. Input is sent character by character to CMDB scan, which copies input into CMDB buff, indexed by CMD index until a new line is encountered. I think this is enough for now. The rest might be helpful later when you are actually writing the solution. But from here we can see that CMDB scan is the function that actually reads that tab key. So let's again go back to our cmd.c file. Now let's search for cmd scan function. I guess I mistyped it. CMDB scan, okay. Okay, so here it is. And it says build a command string. This function gets characters from the serial buffer and appends them to the end of the command buffer. If no character is available, the function returns null. If a new line character is read, a pointer to the buffer is returned. Do not re-invoke this function before extracting the command from the buffer. Okay, so that is just normal description. Now, just above look can give us idea like if /n is pressed, they are calling CMDB prompt. It is basically the function that runs that command we have inputted. When /b is typed, we are decreasing size or something like that. So in this thing, you might not be finding this part. I added this. So basically, we can use something like this and match a tab character here. And after that, when you have found a tab character, you can call some tab completion function that you will have to write now. And this tab completion function will do two things, as we already discussed. The first thing is to print the remaining command as per the rules mentioned in README, and the second thing is to execute that command, and for execution it should be entered in CMD buff. Okay, remember these two things. Now one more thing that we saw in README was CMD ID search. CMD ID search function. Okay, so this is the function, and let's say what this function does. This function searches the command table. Okay, this is the structure in which all our commands are stored. We have seen that earlier. So this function searches the command table for a specific command and returns the index associated with that command or command CMD last. if there is no matching command. Okay, so this function basically returns an index of a particular command that we are searching for, and it is using it is iterating over all the indexes of that command table, and this is comparing the strings and checking whether the subsystem is active or it is not, or it is a global command or something like that. So we don't have to use this cmd search function as it is. We can use this part into our logic somewhere. Okay, so that should be enough for now. And now what you have to do is complete this function, this function in cmdb scan. So basically this tab completion function, you have to write this function, and it should have all the rules implemented in it that were discussed here, like when when h is typed and tab is pressed, it should type elp part and also enter the elp part in cmd buff. And other rules, like if there are more than one possible commands, then it should type only up to some extent which is common in all those commands. So those logics are to be written by you, and it would be better if you use functionality from this code itself, from cmd search and other things that you found in the readme, rather than completely writing the things from scratch. I have tried it, and I didn't require to make any new buffer or anything else, because everything is available here. There are commands, there is command table storing all those commands. There is a command buffer which stores our current command, and there is cmd search, which has lots of other small functions in it, and you can use those functions directly into your code, like the string case compare, is active subsystem, is global command, etc. So I think you will be good to go, and this is helpful for you. Thank you, and have a nice day.